Are you already high?
Smoke all day. Yes.
Yo,
Hello.
yo. So I've been all day.
You were at the Capitol.
I was protesting with 1199. I mean, I was doing a ton more shit, but there's been a protest going on for a straight week, and tomorrow there's an act of civil disobedience on the anniversary of George Floyd's death. Um, so I'm looking forward to getting arrested with 1199.
I have been busy rehearsing with various groups for shows that are happening throughout the month. With Friends Were Music, we are doing 3 Juneteenth performances this year. We are at West Hartford and Simsbury one day and Hartford another day. No. It's West Hartford and Hartford one day. So either way, we're going to be in Simsbury, West Hartford, and Hartford Juneteenth weekend. The Lost Tribe, we have a bunch of stuff coming up, including Renaissance Gal at the Butler McCook House. That's June 11th, as well as another further date. Where is it
Wait,
for that
so
episode?
just out of curiosity, um, so have the last 3 years ever have these been the busiest 3 years in June of your life?
Actually, no. It's been busier.
Because it seems like every town now is doing Juneteenth events, and I'm like, okay, cool. Make sure to house black children, which is why I wore dashiki. Because if y'all going to celebrate Juneteenth, then do something.
Well, we also have to remember, do not use white people in your Juneteenth advertisements.
Yo,
And especially if you're black. That happened. They got Donkey Today for that.
South Carolina, right?
South Carolina, what the fuck's going on?
Wow. So,
We need to find PD Pablo ASAP because the Carolinas has been wilding lately.
yo, I'm sorry, but they ain't shit for that. I mean, y'all couldn't find no black people in South Carolina.
They said they wanted everyone to feel included. Yes, you can include in our blackness.
They could have thrown a light skin in there.
Look at here. Black people, despite everything we've been through, we are inherently inclusive with everybody we come across. That's just how we naturally are. So we don't have to put that on a poster. Hey, white people, it's safe for you to celebrate. No. What you need to do is, white people, shut up and learn.
Uh, well, yeah, learn, but damn, if you won't have, here's the thing. Okay, take the day off, of work. Okay, whatever. So you got the day off of work, right? But damn, in the advertisements too.
Here's the thing.
Now, yo, so let's talk about this officer and Woket, right? Since we talk about,
I was just about to
things
make a
white
cop
folks
comment.
won't. Yo, so teenage girls fighting. She's sitting there, and I guess black girl, black teenager using it against him. So white cop decides to sit there and yell it back at her. Now I'm like, why are you like, you're white? I don't care if they say it in the rap songs. I don't care if we say it. That's still not your word.
Look at here. That is just as bad as the Juneteenth poster. Matter of fact, well, I still want to talk about the Juneteenth poster for a second. It is the equivalent of your cousin getting out of jail after a long stretch, and you have big celebration for your cousin getting out of jail, and you invite the cop and the prosecutor that put him in jail.
Yo, so let's talk about the fact that I did invite my parole officer to my 18th birthday, but she was cool as fuck.
I've never did a bid, thank goodness. I don't have any wood here, so
I
I'm
was I was
mentally
18
knock on
though.
wood. Not to say that I haven't been in trouble or done anything that was okay, dump truck.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I haven't been in trouble or anything. I just never been locked up.
Amen. Good for you.
I mean, of course, I was young once. So I've done stupid shit before, but
This
for the
is
most
like,
part, I stayed
is
out of
this
trouble.
like a Snoop Dogg Martha Stewart situation?
No, Snoop Dogg actually did time. It wasn't a lot of time, but he did some time.
I mean, fuck, you know what I mean. Martha is the gangster here. She did time in the feds because she ain't snitch.
Snoop
Whatever.
Dogg got acquitted of accessory to murder, and him and
Hey,
his
he
bodyguard
is
actually killed
innocent.
the dude.
Yeah, but he's innocent.
No, he wasn't innocent. They just proved that it was self-defense.
So he was innocent.
Yeah, he was guilty of self-defense. He was
not guilty of self-defense. So self-defense is a human right.
He got an entertainment lawyer to get him off of a murder trial. The lawyer that he had was a lawyer for all Death Row artists, every last one of them, even the ones that never put out an album, and he got him acquitted of accessory to murder. But the problem is he didn't help get his bodyguard off, who actually pulled the trigger.
Ooh, so did he pull like a Diddy and Shine?
No, Snoop was driving the vehicle. The bodyguard was the one shooting.
Okay, but I mean, it still was self-defense.
It was.
You gonna smoke with me? Thank you so much.
Speaking of bids, Adi Ticha, the world boss.
Yo, Vybz Kartel, free him. He's about to die if they don't release him, yo.
Brother Adidja, I feel you. Feel for you, man. Hold your head up. You've been 10 toes down ever since you got there, and you had a hit record when you were 5 years in your big. So shout out Vybz Kartel. But for those that are not up to speed, if you're
free him.
Well, yes, free him. But here's why I bring him up. So in recent news, it's been said that Vybz Kartel's health is not doing very good. Vybz Kartel is late 40s, early 50s now.
And he's sick, yo.
And he has Graves' disease, as well as a heart condition. They haven't disclosed what kind of heart condition, but that's a double whammy as far as his health. And he's currently on a 23-hour lockdown due to a contraband violation. He was caught with a cell phone he wasn't supposed to have. So he's on 23-hour a day lockdown for the last week, while suffering from Graves' disease and a heart condition in a room no bigger than a janitor's closet, with no real ventilation or climate control.
So can we talk about the fact that solitary is, torture?
It is. It's psychological torture.
So that's some asshole shit. And
some people go to solitary and they're never the same when they come out. Their mind is damaged. Some of them are lucky. I don't know how the hell Malcolm X went in there and came out still sane.
But my baby father is schizophrenic, and he spent a lot of time in solitary.
DMX has done time in solitary, and he already had
DMX.
But Vybz Kartel. Now, if some of you have probably heard of Graves' disease because Missy Elliott suffered from the same condition. It's a thyroid condition.
Wendy Williams, my stepmom.
Wendy Williams is currently going through it with Graves' disease. It can cause things like bulging eyes, like poor circulation. It can cause a whole number of things. Now, couple that with a heart condition, and you're sustaining yourself on prison food while practicing vegetarianism. That is a lot of taxing of Vybz Kartel's body.
They need to release him. Period.
Well, I mean, it's the biggest court case in all of Jamaica's history. Number one. Number two, it's a murder charge. No body, but still a murder charge. So it's a whole lot. It's not like America where you can say, hey, they didn't find a body, so you can't say it was him. They're using text messages that's cryptic as fuck. And let's be honest. Did the court system take into account colloquialisms and this and the other? I'm not fully familiar with the details of the case, but whatever it said, they found no body, and it seems like Vybz Kartel is more concerned with the victim than the courts were. They were just concerned with locking up this bad boy who, despite being an international star, was barred from leaving Jamaica for the best half of his career.
Free Vybz, period. Yo, bring him over here, yo. Can we do that?
Well, number one, we got to work on getting him out of prison. Number two, he has to get his...
Yo, if El Chapo escapes, get Vybz Kartel out of prison, yo.
What I'm saying is, but then we have to... It's still red tape if he gets out about his visa status. His visa was completely revoked, which is why he wasn't able to travel like he used to before he got locked up the first time.
Whatever happened with them O visas?
Which one?
The entertainment ones. So O visas are like extraordinary talents. One of them's like Iggy Azalea has one.
If your country has that is in place,
No. So we have it.
yeah, we have it, but you also have to apply for the U.S. And with Vibes Cartel's criminal record, the U.S. and Jamaica government is apprehensive about him
He'll be
traveling.
fine.
Be that as it may, that's how the paper trail is working against him, even without his prison conviction and his trial conviction, he wasn't able to travel throughout his pretty much his entire light skin period. He was not able to travel. Some of his biggest songs came out in that period.
That they
Go
did.
Go Go Wine, Dump a Truck, um, Straight Jeans and Fitted. There's so many Vibes Cartel songs that came out during that period versus before that period. But before that period, he was already a legend in the game. Unmatched with lyricism, wittiness, flow, his whole presentation, his attitude, and going against the grain, coming from a relatively smaller town in Jamaica, where most artists is coming from the Kingston area, they're coming from Spanish Town. He's from Portmore, which is relatively smaller in comparison. Kingston is a huge city on a small island.
Yeah. So is that kind of like the Queensbridge of Jamaica?
Well, Kingston being the only like legally defined as a city, the only city on the entire island.
Hmm.
The other towns that are just as big, they're not city
I
like.
mean, do they disproportionately churn out artists?
Let's see.
Because Queensbridge, by per capita, churns
Now,
out
now,
more
now, now,
rappers than any other like
now, as
project.
far as dancehall, not all of them from Kingston. Not all of them are from poverty or working
Per
class
capita,
backgrounds.
where do most of them come from?
I would say like the Kingston area. So that would be pretty much Kingston and the surrounding towns, which is Spanish Town, Portmore. Damn, I was just staying there too. Stony Hill. Those are the surrounding towns around Kingston.
Yeah. Now, I understand like they want to make an example out of the vibes, but I mean, yo, at this point, you're fucking with the man's health. Like, just let him do what he does.
Why should he get special treatment versus the other prisoners? Is what they was hit us back with.
Man, reform your prisons anyways, like we're doing here in Connecticut. We
Well,
need to reform them more. And this prosecutor accountability bill that they just passed today, I mean, I understand people are throwing a fit about it, but people need to be held accountable every step of the way in the criminal justice system so that we can guarantee that it's fair for everyone. So we need to hold people to higher ethics, including
exactly.
prosecutors.
Well, we have to hold people to higher ethics, and these people control these systems. As long as the people behind the control of the systems don't practice these ethics, the systems will never be run ethically, perform
True.
ethically.
True.
Get rid of that hate in your heart. That's what's killing you.
Okay, now, guys, we're going to cut to a commercial break. We'll be right back. Make sure to subscribe to Kimura's Cultural Corner on Patreon. And here you go.
Practicing and living in community means that we're responsible to ourselves and others. It means that we're committed to engaging humbly and bravely with others who we may not agree with, but who share a similar worldview. Tensions and conflicts are gifts that allow us to grow together. Join our peaceful revolution.
All
We're
right,
back.
we're back, and that was Kimura's Cultural Corner, where, and I'm gonna remix my favorite World Boss song. Kimura's Cultural Corner is where you make buddy guy and NB. You make buddy, you make friends, you meet people, you learn about cultural humility, you learn about everything that it entails. I'm not going to spoil it. You need to just sign up for her Patreon program and find out for yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's not like some hippie commune shit. So it's not like some, hold hands, we are the world type shit. I mean, it's going to make the world better, but in a way that respects people and doesn't completely like talk down to you.
You're going to
It's
respectfully learn some painful truths. That's what you're going to do.
everyone.
Nobody's immune.
No one trusts me. But getting back to the subject at hand. So while we're talking about prison reform and all these things, so what do you think would be the difference with Vibes and everyone?
Well, in the bits of information we've gotten over the years, Vibes has had a complete turnaround. He stopped bleaching his skin. His colors returned. He is now vegetarian, mostly because he doesn't trust the prison food. So he's practicing vegetarian. I think he may be full vegan by now. And he's not expressing remorse for what happened, because if he did that, that would be him admitting that he did it. He's still maintaining that he had nothing to do with it. And he said out loud that it seems that he cares more about Lizard than the Jamaican government does. The Jamaican government was just caring about locking up this bad boy, not finding justice for Lizard.
What do you think that is? I mean, besides the obvious.
Well, the colonial mindset of the Jamaican parliament that has not really left it since Britain left as a ruling nation.
Mm-hmm.
The way of thinking hasn't left. Yes, Jamaica's an independent country. It's only been an independent country since 1961.
Oh yeah, Britain, because so on average every 4 days a different country celebrates freedom from Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is July 4th. I'm kind of looking forward to the fireworks. But I feel bad for the veterans and puppies.
Jamaica was colonized until the early 60s, same as Trinidad. I think as a ruling monarch, Barbados recently dissolved this relationship with the United Kingdom Parliament.
So how long do you think Vibes can survive in those conditions? Because I'm praying for him.
Medical expert says he needs surgery immediately in order for him to live. So, if you're the individual that prays, pray for Brother Adisha.
I'm gonna have to. How do you what do you feel the impact would be in the music world anyways?
It's hard to say. I have my opinions about the dance hall scene and the direction it's headed, and it's kind of in line with some of the veterans that have said the same thing. So, since Vybz Kartel has departed, I mean, if he was indeed Tupacing it up and he had just a boatload of songs ready to go before he got locked up, and they were just locking and releasing them as the years went by, because he was locked up since 2011, and Fever came out 2015, 2016, and Fever was a crossover hit.
Yep.
So, and there's songs of his that came out after that. He's on Busta Rhymes' album, and that came out in 2020. Bumper so big, like Nicki Minaj, That's it. That's him. That's Vybz Kartel and Busta Rhymes on a trap beat.
Yep.
But
it's gonna leave a void.
The very legend of he snuck some recording equipment into his cell has been recording it without the CEOs finding out. That legend, that folkloricness, that just adding more to his living legend as the last king of dancehall. Because since his star power and his music output dwindled, who's the current reigning star dancehall artist? Now, if you could name anybody, I guarantee you that they're more crossover than straight dancehall. So that first two names that come to mind:
Mario Chief.
No, Shenseea and Coffee.
Yeah.
As far as visibility, Vybz Kartel had the visibility. He's rapping. He's on Missy's shit. He's on other people's shit. So he had the same thing that Beanie Man had for a time. Same thing Sean Paul had for a time, and still kind of does. The same thing Shabba Ranks had in the 90s. That status of being the best in dancehall while being so good musically that you cross over on on other charts. That it's so big in the individual Caribbean communities, the Caribbean diasporas around U.S., Canada, and U.K. that now pop stations are playing it. Pop stations played it, wasn't me. Pop Station played Light Glue and Give Me the Light and all of that shit.
I love Hartford.
Yeah. In the U.S., we got Hartford, we got Brooklyn, we got Boston, we got D.C., we got Chicago, we got Miami, we got all of these mini pockets of that vast and varied Caribbean communities.
Okay,
Jamaica,
now
Trinidad.
let's talk about Jamaica specifically, where it's Toronto, Hartford, Toronto and Hartford.
As far as the North America, the two largest per capita Jamaican communities are Hartford and Toronto, in that order.
Yeah,
Per
because
capita. Yes,
yeah, my
Toronto.
kids.
Toronto is 8 million strong. Hartford, Connecticut is about 130,000 residents, and proportionally, we have a larger community. That's something to be proud of if you're from Jamaica, if you're of a Jamaican descent. And with that, it attracts all the other Caribbean pockets that come here, the Haitians, the Trinities, and everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Your family's from Virgin Islands.
My father's side is from St. Thomas, Charlotte Mali, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Charlotte Mali is the capital of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and also have family in British Virgin Islands as well as Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Baltimore and New York.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
And that's just my father's side.
We have our family reunions in Newark because our family, that's where it's most central between Florida, New York, New Jersey, and Puerto Rico.
Most of our family reunions when we had them were in New York because it was just easier for flight purposes, and it's easier for the Bmore side of the clan to come through.
I wonder where the cops are going.
They're always going somewhere.
Yes.
Not a day goes by you don't hear a siren, a motorcycle, or a loud Honda zipping by.
Yo, can we talk about how when you move to the suburbs, you miss that shit? Like, you can't sleep. You got to have a fan on top of it.
When you're used to someone else playing loud music and it doesn't disturb your peace.
Yeah, like, I sleep right through the fireworks. Because you're going to hear that shit on the north end the whole month of July, and it's like, yeah, it's cool.
It just sucks when you don't tune your sound systems. I don't know why you reggaeton cats do that to your sound system. Stop that shit.
That's the muffler. That's the muffler.
No,
That's the muffler.
No. I ain't talking about the damn Honda fart can. I'm talking about the sound system. Why y'all cutting the bass off and reggaeton is bass heavy? Well, it's all horn tweeters. What's up with that? Somebody tell me in the comments. Why do you reggaeton cats do that? I ain't gonna say Puerto Ricans because there's Dominicans and Cubans involved in this shit too.
Nah, it's us. It's us.
Okay, I ain't want to say it. You said it.
It's
not
okay.
me.
It's the Puerto Ricans.
All right. Why do y'all do that?
To cover up the sound of the mufflers.
You put some goddamn 12s in the trunk like everybody else. Stop doing that. That sounds horrible.
We need space for the diaper bags.
Then you got a CRV.
Shut up.
You got a Pathfinder.
Oh,
you got
God.
a Honda Pilot. I was talking to somebody earlier. It said somebody said it was a group of people. They have a driving job, and when they were out doing the deliveries, I ain't gonna say what company they work for. It's just a major company, but they're in Hartford. Mm-hmm. They were making a stop.
There ain't no more spliffs.
And no.
Yo, let me.
You get your one hitter out. But they saw 3 guys in a sedan just speeding by, and they almost hit them. And given the part of Hartford they were in, I asked, was it a Honda or an Acura or an Infiniti? They said they don't know. Why you ask? It says, that's how you can tell, was it Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, or Black Americans? You already have in your head which car goes to which.
That's not the point, yo. All right, so light this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So,
anyhow, so let's talk about the fact that there's 4 Puerto Rican parades, or like 5 of them now in Connecticut this year.
mhm.
And I think they have done this strategically because my people act up every fucking June. Okay. So they have sat there and spaced them out, and they're having the mini ones. But in September, having the actual parade in Hartford is fucking genius, because on a Sunday, the kids have to get to school the next fucking day.
Some of them still be going to school, depending on how much snow we get around the time the parade comes.
Sir,
And let's not forget about magnet schools and prep schools that are on their own schedule.
listen, I want to talk about that shit was genius the way they did it.
What's not genius is changing traditions like that. You don't see New York saying, let's stop having the Labor Day parade on Labor Day. You don't see that shit. Labor Day parade happens on Labor Day. Now, we already adjusted the West Indian parade due to Toronto's schedule in the carnival season. It used to be first Saturday in August, now second Saturday. First Saturday is dedicated to the Caribbean and Jerk
Sir,
Fest.
we're getting 4 parades.
I'm still working on the 5th. There's a popular call for revamping the African American Day Parade.
Oh, y'all do y'all thing. We could sit there and plug this shit. Let's go. Let's talk to the people in charge. Let's see what we can do to assist.
Look at here. Puerto Ricans are in that too, because think about this. Y'all the blackest in the Spanish-speaking world. Y'all the blackest as a nation. The most African kids.
I'm wearing a fucking dashiki
the most
to honor
African
my
sounding
ancestors,
as a
motherfucker.
nation. And there's black Puerto Ricans too. Blacker than me.
Tego Calderon.
Yeah, he's much darker than me. But Boricua to the core.
Yeah, no, but all I'm saying is let's get this shit done. So, I mean, think about it. Do you know who Arthur Schomburg is?
Heard the name.
Arturo Schomburg?
Yes.
From Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Father of the, he was collecting all the shit during the Harlem Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
Black man. From Puerto Rico.
Yep.
So, yeah. These things go hand in hand.
Roberto Clemente.
We need to sit there and recognize some of our own Hartford Puerto Ricans because we have so many.
There's a retired boxer that I met. Dark skin. Salt and pepper cornrows. But he represents Ponce. That's where he's from.
Yo, so can we talk about, shout out to Sammy Vega for getting the mural. I feel like he deserves that shit. He's such a positive young man. Like, I don't know if he's licensed as a lawyer. I don't know what the fuck he does. I know he's a boxer and he works with kids and he works with Jeffrey Dressler in his programs and stuff. I need to ask him what he does. I would feel bad though because I feel like I'm supposed to know, but he's just always so positive, so I'm just sitting there following his positive stuff. Feel me? I don't like to pry.
Your eyes help.
I don't care.
So we have moved our undisclosed location, but there's a lot more activity than we anticipated. If you hear background noise a lot, but for the most part, it's a peaceful place.
I just wanted to see a different view.
And I'm just stealth.
Just for once, I wanted a new experience.
So,
and it's Hartford, and I love the city. It's, home.
Speaking of Hartford.
Yo, I just met this girl from when I went to school in Colchester, and she remembered me from when I transferred to Hartford. And she's like, yeah, you were the new kid from Hartford. I'm like, yeah, I know. She's like, we were all white and you weren't. And I'm like, yeah, but there was Celeste. And she's like, oh yeah, her. And I'm like, yeah, she was. Yeah. So there was 2 people of color. There was 3 in the school, including my brother. So it was me, Celeste, and my brother. The 3 people of color in the school.
Hartford in particular, Connecticut as a whole, is a place that you love, but you love, but it's a tough love. It's easy to love the city. It's also hard to love the city at the same time.
Yeah, I was so happy to move back to civilization. Like, yeah, the educational system, mwah, right? I loved it. However, I admit I was so happy to move to East Hartford and see that it had integrated drastically since I was a kid because I felt at home.
So,
I was so fucking happy to be home.
so you know the expression "big fish in a small pond."
Hmm.
Now, it relates a lot to me as because I'm a performing artist, but people with immense talent, and like when I say immense talent, it often feel unappreciated here in your home in Connecticut, whether it's Hartford or New Haven or Waterbury or wherever you are. It's it's a stifling kind of feeling, and then you get the opportunity to perform outside of Connecticut, and you do what gets an okay response from the audience in your home, and people are blown away when you go elsewhere. And you're like, all I did is just this. Like, you go to New York. New York is full of talented people. Some of the most talented people in the world come from New York. But Connecticut artists go and perform in New York. Everyone remembers them because they did something different.
Yep.
Those that take their craft seriously, I mean, because there's a lot of art. Let's be real. There's a lot of artists that are popular locally, but they would not get that same love elsewhere. And there's people that get love locally, but not enough for what they do, and they blow people away when they leave here. That's why so many of our talented musicians leave Connecticut before they find success.
Hartford needs to invest in things so that people can invest into the arts and, actually bring talent in because we need to invest in our people. I mean, I really hope that they vote on these laws like SB4, first of all, the housing bill, all these fucking bills that people just need their common sense. We have everything we need at home in Connecticut, and the solutions, we have everything we need in the city. We have our people. So the capital should be the people, and we need to invest in them.
I was just recently at a jam at the State House in New Haven, which is a venue on State Street, and they every month they have some sort of jam. Musicians from all over Connecticut show up, and it's a lot of neo jazz, new jazz. It's a lot of it's a lot of funk. It's R&B covers. It's everything. It's bands that are invited, and then it's musicians that just have a freestyle jam, switching in and out of instruments and in and out of grooves. But this past Saturday, a Sunday actually, late Labor Day week. I mean Memorial Day weekend. I always got it fucked up, so I'm a little high. But Memorial Day weekend, Sunday evening, was the last jam at the State House due to the venue not being able to recover financially from the pandemic. And despite everything that's been booked there recently, they were bought out by developers who have been developing left and right in New Haven, and the venue will be demolished and built on something else will be built there in its place.
Which venue is this?
It's called the State House.
Oh, the State House.
It's in
That's
New
right.
Haven on State Street. Small venue, but great, great performing place. There's footage of me someplace. I mean, there's a lot of stories I shared, and some I wasn't able to share in time, but I'm sure that someone captured footage that is out there. And the Lost Tribe was one of the featured groups of the night, and it was a lot of fun. For because we have a jazz scene here in Hartford, but it's more along the lines of straight ahead jazz, bebop, and things like that. You don't hear a lot of new jazz, like neo jazz, or like soul based jazz, whatever you want to call it. Stuff that Robert Glasper plays, Christian Scott plays. I mean, if you know Chris Brown, you at least heard of Robert Glasper because Robert Glasper beat him out for the Grammy. A jazz musician beat Chris Brown for a Grammy for Best R&B Album. And it's his third Grammy win for Best R&B Album with Black Radio 3.
Is that the same crackhead from before?
No, it's not.
The one behind us?
It is not.
Huh.
Yeah, the guy was taller and wearing long pants. We're not gonna be live on camera profiling crackheads, all right?
Yo.
I'm sorry, respectfully, I'm calling them crackheads because I don't want to. Okay, drug heads because I don't want to assume.
No, just fucking please, because I like I go to them and hand out Narcan all the fucking time, yo.
Yeah, we're not gonna demonize.
No, but I mean he's a crackhead.
I'm sure it's crack. That's my general point. I don't want to assume what drug he uses.
I don't know. It's Hartford. Well, I guess Hartford's changed lately, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of heroin and fentanyl.
Oh yeah, that shit's changed. It used to just be crack.
Yeah, and it's scary.
Crackheads used to be useful as fuck. I mean, they would set up your cable, lights, all types of shit.
And then they went somewhere when it went dark.
Yeah, like the best thing to do is for your car to break down in front of a crackhead with some money, because your shit's gonna get fixed, and they're always polite.
Instead of the alternative of parking car near someone falling asleep in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's someone's dad, someone's brother, so I guess they know. They're able to contribute to society because they're people, and someone loves them, and they love people. And we should love them. And they're useful as fuck.
Well, heroin and fentanyl is definitely something we don't need in our streets.
Period. I really don't. I'm frustrated.
So,
I don't understand why people could do that. You're basically selling murder. Like, you're murdering people.
I mean, then we can talk about the fact that we live in a capitalist society, and the drug game, for better or for worse, is a capitalist industry. And people are willing to quote Jay-Z, murder for capital. So, if they're not shooting anybody, they'll sell something so you can shoot yourself, no pun intended. And the chase of the almighty dollar clouds moral judgment, and that's in all aspects of business. It's not just a drug game. It can be something as simple as hardware store game. Let's develop this land to open a new hardware store. But sir, there's wildlife. Well, we're pushing somewhere else.
Awesome. I feel crushed.
Be wary of a brand new Home Depot or Lowe's opening in your area. Because if it's in your area, or what used to be housing projects, or what used to be woodlands, then there's some moral clouding. And if you accept that, but you don't accept somebody selling dope on the side of the corner that's laced with fentanyl, it's the same shit. You kill it for money.
Yeah, I mean, crack doesn't.
They say crack kills, and I see a lot of people have been smoking crack for 30 years. Why are they still here? I mean, I'm pretty sure some people have had some heart attacks ODing on crack, but the same thing is.
Yeah, that's true. That happened to my neighbor before.
If you do too much cocaine, it's the same shit. Smoke too many cigarettes back to back and see how your heart like it. Yeah. So, you drink too much water, that'll kill you.
True, but I mean, this is different. So, I mean, people are dying.
Yeah. And lacing it with fentanyl. Listen, fentanyl is for medical purposes only. It's not something you're supposed to be shooting in your veins or smoking in a pipe.
Or giving to people unsuspectingly because it's cheaper.
And if you're lacing weed with fentanyl, I'm going to kick your ass.
As you should. And I'll help you.
When I mean kick your ass, I'm gonna stomp them into the ground.
No,
then
wait. Terms and conditions.
Stomp them into the ground. And then finish off with a powerful boot to the buttocks. What are you doing?
Terms and conditions.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Ding dong. All right. Well, guys, I guess we're super stoned. So we will talk to you next week with mayoral candidate Tracy Funny.
All right. See you next week. Peace.
Bye.